Hello everyone, I'm Erin, I'm Queen Bee Tarot, and I wanted to pop in today and give you guys an astrology update because there's some pretty significant things happening. And today I'm joining you from my porch garden. So welcome back to my channel. We had some pretty significant stuff happen. Yesterday was a new moon in Cancer, and with the sun and the moon in Cancer, which is a very deep feeling water sign, emotions are running pretty strong right now, and as represented by the crab, Cancerian emotional vibes often make us want to run away and retreat from the world. So if you felt like you had to put up a protective shell and hide from the world recently, that is very, very normal, absolutely to be expected during this time. But you know what? Emotions aren't something that we always want to run from. We want to recognize that when our emotions come up, they have a lot to teach us. And so my question to you is, what is your discomfort teaching you right now? And when I ask that, I would like to kind of jump into how the nodes just shifted from Taurus and Scorpio into Aries and Libra. They move backwards because they are a mathematically calculated point where if the sun and the moon were lined up perfectly, we would have an eclipse. And these eclipse points are really significant in astrology because they represent times of very often sudden change, that there's a build up, and then all of a sudden, like a light switch, boom, a realization or an experience catalyzes a huge leap as far as changing our lives, changing ourselves, or changing our situations. So for the past year and a half, we had a lot of really emotional stuff come up because when the eclipses were moving through Taurus and Scorpio, the biggest thing that came up was, are our needs being met? Those are emotional, mental, spiritual, physical needs, but also financial needs. And a focus on finances, including debt, has been a huge focus over the last year and a half. Globally, collectively, financial markets have been kind of, turned upside down. There's a lot been happening. So definitely a really intense last year and a half. And all of those experiences brought us information. What is working? What is not working? What feels good? What does not feel good? So then we have to look at, okay, what are we going to do with that information? Now, as of yesterday, the nodes representing the eclipse points in the sky have moved into Libra and Aries. So in astrology, what makes these eclipses so important? Like I said, it's times of catalyzing huge change in our lives, but it's also about awakening to what our souls need to learn, maybe what we need to grow into or embrace, and what do our souls need to let go of and release in order to be our best selves or live our best lives. Often, these realizations of what needs to change, including us and maybe relationships, maybe situations that we've built up or participated in, these realizations are often deeply uncomfortable. So whether or not we do something about it is another question entirely. I mean, these emotions can come up, and then what if we stuff those emotions? What if we run from those emotions? Well, then we're not learning anything and we're not changing anything because we just went la 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 to all this new information. So for the next year and a half, as the eclipse points move through Libra and Aries, we are being invited to take action and leave behind any moments in which we sacrifice our own well-being in order to uphold peace. And peace is really important in life, but peace needs to start within. And when our outer situations reflect this energy of discombobulation, as we see in the world right now, the world is just absolutely nuts right now. It's going to be interesting to see how these new eclipses come into play. So we also had a new moon, like I said, a new moon in Cancer yesterday. So emotions are really, really heightened. And Mars just moved into Virgo. So our action planet, which could also be seen as an actor, asking, what's my motivation? Our action planet just moved out of Leo. So for the past 2 months, we've been seeing in ourselves and in others a lot of ego-based action, a lot of ego-based talk, And it's just been wild lately. So now that Mars moved into Virgo, we've got a much more subdued, self-aware tone. But the other side of that is that Virgo is known for perfectionism. And it took me days to decide to sit in front of this camera because I was really feeling that perfectionism. I had my notes, I had my ideas, but I couldn't make myself sit in front of the camera because I kept feeling this anxiety of, is it going to be perfect? And sometimes when we ask ourselves, is it going to be perfect? We don't even give something a shot because we're afraid that we're going to screw it up or feel stupid or look stupid, right? So as Mars moves through Virgo for the next 2 months, I invite you to be aware of that perfectionism when it comes up, but at the same time, don't let it stop you. Virgo's superpower is noticing. So as Mars moves through Virgo, you are going to be hyper aware of your actions, other people's actions. And again, this is all very useful information because once we see something, we can't unsee it. And it becomes like this mosquito in a room where we're like, okay, now that's really bugging me. I have to do something about it. That's the answer. So all of this information, be it uncomfortable feelings, uncomfortable interactions, being hyper aware of our faults or our flaws, it's really, really, really important to use that. Use that as a catalyst for change. Instead of holding yourself back or maybe claiming this is who I am and refusing to change, let's see what we can do to embrace this new information and use it. Do something useful with it. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that. I'm going to pop and look at my notes really quick and make sure I didn't forget anything. Now I'm in front of the camera and kind of feeling on the spot. We're wrapping up Cancer season right now, and Cancer is a really deeply feeling water sign represented by the crab, and the crab has this hard exterior shell to protect its soft insides. I just made a quick video and I posted it yesterday about the crab, because we can all take a lesson from the crab. If our inside space, like our head space, our heart space, our spirit, if our inside space is a safe space, then we can be at home anywhere we are. But if our inside space is not a safe space, then we're going to be looking for comfort, looking for reassurance, looking for validation everywhere we go in the world, and never finding quite enough to quench our thirst. Because ultimately we have to fill our own cups before we can even fill other people's cups. So as Cancer season wraps up, I invite you to sit with your discomfort, create a safe space in which you could really feel your discomfort instead of running from it, and then ask yourself, what can I do to change this? Is it something I need to change about myself? Is it something I need to change about how I'm interacting with other people? I mean, it could be a huge list, but I invite you to sit with your discomfort. Don't run from it. See what it is trying to teach you, and then see what you can personally do about that. There's no sense in resisting the big emotions right now. Just flow with it. The intensity of emotions brings truths to be told. Listen to those truths. The next chapter that we're moving into as these eclipses are shifting is less of a focus on the scarcity of resources and money, although that does clearly continue to be an issue, but rather than feeling like I'm trapped underneath these circumstances, the energy of the next year and a half is going to be, these circumstances are intolerable, therefore I am taking this action to do something about it. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the next year and a half plays out. Aries says me and Libra says we. And so it's going to be a constant push and pull between the two as we exercise our own rights and truths and sovereignty within the context of the collective. I just wanted to say a quick shout out to all the writers and the actors on strike right now. Solidarity, 100%. It is time for the people to rise up, and that's kind of the vibe I get for the next year and a half. Like I said, it's going to be really interesting. But power to the people, 100%. Now that we see, we cannot unsee. All of these realizations may be deeply uncomfortable, but they're bringing us somewhere. They're teaching us something. And so the healthiest thing that we can do while Mars is moving through Virgo and we have this emotional sensitivity right now is that the healthiest thing we can do is think about, okay, what can I personally do about it? And there's a lot that's totally outside of our control that we can't honestly do much about. But what we can do is make sure that we are looked after. So when I'm personally experiencing a great deal of anxiety, depression, any of those really uncomfortable experiences, and they often last for long periods of time, you have to approach it like a marathon. And so I will do small things with great love. I will slowly make myself a pot of tea. And I will slowly bless that water and give thanks for that water and give thanks for the herbs that are in that tea. And I will slowly drink that tea and I will feel it warming up my body on the inside. And I will take that moment to notice my energy. And I'll ground out and I'll take nice, deep cleansing breaths. And even though that's maybe just a half an hour or an hour out of my day, it does so much to improve my energy or my sense of being safe within my body. So that's kind of the message, is that anything that you can do to feel safe inside of your body, to feel safe inside of your life, and to give yourself all that you need before you start trying to fly in different directions, answering emails, taking care of friends, paying attention to a lover. Look after your own needs first. Make sure your cup is full and then move on through your day. Be gentle with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And anytime maybe like big emotions come through and big stories, big information behind those emotions, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper and just write it all down. The important thing to do is get it out of you. Because when we receive all that information and we keep it tucked inside of our bodies, it often leads to disease or depression or these things that end up feeling unmanageable. So as much as you can, just pen to paper gets those thoughts out, and then your brain can relax and be like, okay, I got my truth out. Or your heart can relax. Okay, I got to tell myself how I'm really feeling right now. So don't hide from the truth. During this time, nobody's going to have tolerance for fakeness or any of that. The sense, that superpower of noticing that Mars and Virgo is going to bring, is going to bring a lot of uncomfortable truths, whether you're noticing stuff in yourself that you're like, oh wow, that really needs to change, or maybe noticing stuff in people around you. But the truth is going to set you free, even if it pisses you off first. So stay awake. Keep your eyes open. Keep your heart open. Keep it simple. And I wish you guys all the very best. I'm going to sign off now, but I'll post another astrology update soon. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you want me to cover a topic or answer a question. I love having an idea to go off of in a video, so please definitely let me know your thoughts, let me know your questions, and I'll do my best to cover them. All the best. Mwah. Power to the people. I'll talk to you guys soon.